Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your homeboy Jojo Kaiser here. I'm back with another storytime video for you guys today. Hope you all are having yourselves a fantastic day. I know I am. And for today's story time, not gonna lie, it's a pretty stupid video if I'm gonna be 100% real with you guys. Like, not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure some of you saw the title of this video, so you're probably thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be the most stupid story time I ever watched in my entire life. And I will agree with you on that. But it's also a little bit funny looking back, just based on how completely ridiculous the situation was. And yeah, you're about to hear that. But before I continue on, I just want to say thank you all so much for the amount of support recently. Like, this has been a huge opportunity for me. I had no idea that I would not only get 50 subs, but go beyond that and get over 100 subs, which is something that I never thought that I would be able to see in my entire life. And I just want to say thank you all so much for the amount of support. Like, that personally warms my heart to no end. I know that to some people on YouTube that might not be like a huge achievement, but to me it really is. So to celebrate this awesome achievement, I'm going to be making a Q&A video in some point in the future whenever I get the chance to actually receive questions, which I haven't received yet. So if you guys have any questions about me whatsoever, it doesn't matter how crazy or weird the questions may be at that particular moment, please send them to my business email, which will be down in the description below. So, without further ado, let's get on with today's story time about how I almost got arrested for sitting on a public bench. Yes, I know, it's really stupid. So today's story time takes place back in 8th grade, literally the last year of middle school. I was a middle schooler during this time, which, yeah, puts into perspective just how stupid this situation was. But we're gonna get to that when we get to that. So, yeah, one day, right, I wake up, you know, the basic routine that any middle schooler does when they're in 8th grade. They wake up, brush their teeth, take a shower, eat breakfast, watch some cartoons because I'm a gangster like that. I go to school. Not gonna lie, nothing pretty interesting happened in middle school on this particular day. You know, it was a pretty normal day as far as I'm aware of. So this story time takes place, I believe, like 3 months after the last story time video I made on, you know, little old Billy over here. And if you guys want to check out that video, it's literally the one previous to this. So yeah, go check that out for more context, I guess, in terms of the location in which this story time took place. But yeah, me and my friends, we go to this park, sitting on one of the public benches, keyword being public bench. You know, inside this park, we're just sitting there on a public bench, you know, just talking and whatnot. And that piece of detail is important for a little bit, and you're about to hear why. So anyways, right, we're sitting on a public bench for like 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. We just got there basically. And on my way over there, right, I saw this police car on like the corner of the park that's literally next to my middle school. And I noticed that there was a police officer sitting in that car, and the police officer looked really new to me, like looked completely different. So this particular park was, you know, structured in a way where there was constant police officers. Well, not constant, but you know, just like every now and then you'll see like a police car and whatnot drive over the neighborhood to see if anything's happening and whatnot. And for this particular car, police car, I noticed that, you know, there was a completely new police officer in the neighborhood. You know, I don't know if he just got transferred to like a new police department or whatever the case may be. Personally, I don't think that matters for the story time. But I see this police officer sitting in his police car on the corner of the park. Keep in mind, me and my friends are literally sitting on a public bench inside of the park, which again is an important detail that you guys are about to hear out. So me and my friends are sitting on a public bench inside the park, and then I noticed that the exact same police officer that I said looked new to me starts walking over to us on the opposite side of the fence, which, you know, for those of you that don't know or didn't watch the previous video, the way how my park was structured was that there was a gated fence, like a black tall gated fence that protected the park. So then I see this police officer walk over to me and my friends, right, on, you know, the opposite side of the gates, and, you know, he shouts out to me saying, "Hey, what are you boys doing?" And so me and my friends turn over to, you know, the police officer that was on the opposite side of the fence. I'm the first one to say something. I'm like, "Hi, officer, what seems to be the problem?" Because, you know, I wanted to be nice and whatnot. And the police officer says, "You're not allowed to do that. Why are you loitering in this park?" And so I was confused, and my friends were also equally confused, and we gave this police officer like a confused look. And so I say again, "Okay, police officer, what seems to be the problem? Did I do anything illegal? What do you mean I'm loitering?" And he says, yeah, you're just sitting there, not doing anything, loitering. You guys are loitering. Get out of this park. To which me and my friends both gave like really confused looks at each other and then back at the police officer because like it's a public park. I'm sitting on a public bench. Everyone sits on public benches in this park. What are you talking about? And that's when I got another thought in my head being like, okay, this police officer is obviously new around, the neighborhood. Because there's no way he's going to think that kids sitting on a public bench in a public park is somehow loitering. Because that just makes absolutely no sense. And so me and my friends are also giving this police officer the exact same confused look. Because, like, again, it's a public bench. Like, what? So then I say back to this police officer, sir, we're not loitering. This is a public park. And this public park has public benches that people sit on every single day. You do know that people have the right to sit on public benches in a public park, right? And so he's like, no, this park isn't public. I don't care what you say. This is a private property. You're loitering here. I need you to get out right now. And he's going off on us because how dare I question a police officer's, mindset in terms of what's public and what's not. Keep in mind, this is 100% a public park that has public benches that people can sit on every single day. So then after he stops yelling at us, I'm like, sir, there are people right there that are also sitting on public benches. And so I point to a couple of other kids, on the opposite side of the park that were also sitting on the exact same benches that we were. So then I'm like, okay, by your own logic, shouldn't you also go over there and tell them not to sit on public benches if it's bothering you that much? And so the police officer is like, oh, so now you're giving me attitude? I'm like, sir, I'm not trying to give you attitude. I'm just saying that it makes no sense for you to be upset at me for sitting on a public bench that's not loitering. Like, this is a public park. We're sitting on public benches. What are you talking about? And even one of my friends was like, yeah, sir, this is a public bench. If you have a problem with us sitting on a public bench in a public park, then go to the school. And so my friend pointed to, the middle school that I went to. And, he says, go over there and tell them, hey, there's some kids sitting on a public bench in a public park. Like, they're not going to do anything. It's a public park. And you're probably thinking that the officer at this point is like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm new here. I didn't realize that this was a public park and you're sitting on public benches. I'm so sorry. You would probably think that the police officer would say that, right? But you'd be wrong because the next thing this police officer says is, all right, kids, get in my car. And I'm like, wait, what? What? Did you really just tell a couple of 12 to 13-year-olds to get in your police car because they were arguing with you? What? So then I'm like, no. And he says, get in my police car right now. And I said, no. Like, what? I'm not doing anything wrong. This is a public park. I'm sitting on a public bench. Like, no, I'm not going in your car. He says, get in my car now or you're going to be arrested. And, so what me and my friends did next, not gonna lie, looking back, it's probably not the best idea. Like, we shouldn't have done it. So what me and my friends decided to do is that we wait for like a couple of seconds. Then me and my friends just started running. Like, seriously, me and my friends legitimately start running away from this police officer, which is like, oh God, like that's so stupid. Right? Oh my God. Like, if I really had the ability to go back in time and stop myself from doing something, I'll probably be like, no, don't run away from a police officer. That's stupid. Guys, please don't do what I did in this story time. Just don't run away from a police officer. That's not good. But eventually, me and my friends started running away from this police officer. The police officer started chasing us, and one particular piece of detail that I forgot to use to describe this police officer was that this guy was fat. Like, there's no way to phrase it in any other way. This guy was ridiculously fat. Like, he was basically Po from Kung Fu Panda, except he wasn't the type of person that actually learned how to use Kung Fu. Instead, he looked like he ate Po and grew fatter. Like, that's really what I'm saying. He was that fat. And he tries running towards us with his like little waddling. He kind of looked like he was waddling now that I look back, right? And thankfully I was skinny during the time and I was able to run fast. So yeah, me and my friends just started running out of the park and we left. And the police officer just stopped chasing us. So yeah, that was pretty wild. And then the next day came, school ends because nothing really interesting happened in school again on that particular day. Me and my friends see the exact same police officer. He looks pissed at us for leaving, right? But he doesn't stop his car to, confront us about what happened the previous day. Instead, he just drives past us, giving us like really mean death glares, and that was it. Like that was the last time we've ever talked to that police officer, pretty much ever again. And yeah, that was a pretty stupid but kind of funny video looking back. Moral of the story is don't run away from, a police officer. Like, don't do what I did in this story time. That was really stupid. Like, just don't do that. And I guess also, just because you're a police officer doesn't mean you get to tell people what to do all the time. Because how can you confuse a public bench in a public park for loitering? Like, how do you confuse that? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time about how I almost potentially got arrested for sitting on a public bench. So, yeah. And on that note, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this story time. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more of my dumb content in the future. And on top of that, all my social media pages will be down in the description below. I'm in the process of celebrating my 100 subscriber achievement by making a 100 subscriber Q&A special. So if you guys have any questions about me whatsoever, doesn't matter how weird or how funny the questions are, please send them to my business email, which will be down in the description along with all my other social media platforms. So yeah, send me any amounts of questions, doesn't matter how many. And yeah, until next time, guys, this is JoJo Kaiser signing out. Make sure you stay sexy and wear a condom. Peace!